to Sound Music Business. I'm Anthea Palmer, and this is the second video in my Face the Music series. So I went to a panel called State of Play, and the participants were from AMIN, the Australian Music Industry Network. And there was a representative from each state government body, also Dan Rosen, the CEO of ARIA, and the new co-director for the National Live Music Office. And if you haven't heard of that office, they're doing fantastic stuff to try to encourage cooperation and collaboration to build Australia's live music scene. Now, they started the panel by asking each state representative what they felt their biggest hurdle or their key issue was. And each state had a different response. So New South Wales said it was about the cost of living and the impact that that's having on their musical community, particularly in Sydney. Queensland was about reaching regional artists and regional touring. Tasmania was about the lack of facilities, particularly in Hobart, and basic facilities like rehearsal studios. In Northern Territory, their mainstream of concern at the moment is helping Indigenous women to get into music. In South Australia, it's about a lack of music business education. In Victoria, it's about planning. It's about the noise restrictions and noise complaints venues are experiencing that are closing venues down, and the lack of planning around the support of live venues. Now, no surprise that for ARIA, the key issue is copyright reform. And for the National Live Music Office, it's about trying to diminish the amount of regulation and red tape. It's that red tape that's really stifling our music industry. So the topic of artist income was a hot one. And I can tell you that artists are earning less now than they were 15 years ago, which is just appalling. So the median average full-time salary in Australia is something like $57,000 a year, and average for a musician is $13,000. So huge difference. If you're only earning $13K, you're either very hungry or you're supplementing your income with other work. Now, if you're doing that, that obviously means you have less time to focus on your art, and it's a bit of a vicious circle. So certainly artist income was a hot topic, and the reason being that for the industry, if artists are earning more, the industry will grow. And if artists are earning less, then of course the industry is diminishing as well. Another item of discussion was that our Australian music industry's weakness has been reporting. So it has been collecting statistics and data and the numbers that are required to lobby government for support. We haven't been good at that in the past, but that's changing. There's been a number of studies, and also the fact that bodies like AMIN are coming together and they're sharing information and they're working together to lobby. That's just all good news for the Australian industry. Because if we can prove the size, particularly of our contemporary industry, then we're reporting to the politicians how many jobs it creates, how many people are working in the industry, what the income for the industry is, and of course, if there's large numbers, they'll be interested in those votes. So what's changed since the September election as far as the music industry goes? Well, the Minister for the Arts is also the Attorney General, and his name's George Brandis, and he is from a fine arts background, or I guess has an interest in the fine arts rather than contemporary. But that being the case, Dan Rosen, who has already had dealings with him, did say he thinks that he will be open-minded and that he will give AMIN and the contemporary music scene his ear. So let's hope he's supportive. Remembering too that the more self-sufficient our industry is, so the more money spinning in our industry, the less we have to ask for government handouts and support, and the happier the politicians should be. So lastly, the Australian Music Industry Network, AMIN, they have two major projects to help grow the industry, and they're control and release. So control is all about educating the managers, the music managers and the artist managers in the industry, and it's a very intensive program. And the other project is release, and that's about supporting and educating the independent record labels. And they feel that through those two avenues and growing those two avenues, it can only be good for the Australian industry. So I did write quite a detailed report on the panel. I know it's quite a dry topic, sometimes doesn't get a lot of interest from the musicians, but this is your industry, and if you want to make a crust out of making music, it's really important that you understand the environment that you're working in. So if you would like that report, depending on where you see this video, there might just be a download PDF option. But if not, feel free to just contact us, drop me a line and ask for a copy of the report. I'd be more than happy to give it to you. So thanks for watching Sound Music Business. Look out for the next episode of Face the Music. There'll be more great information. Onwards and upwards.